If you are an Indian American in Texas and you have a simple will, then here are some of the downsides of having a simple will that you may not have thought about. The first downside to having a simple will is that every will has to go through a process called probate, which basically is, after you pass away, your surviving spouse and your kids, they'll have to take that will and then they have to, take it down to the local probate court, hire an attorney like me, and the judge will have to basically validate the will as genuine, and only then will the will come to life. Only then will assets be transferred to your kids or in accordance with your wishes. And if you have assets in multiple states, then they will have to go through this probate process, this court supervised attorney process in multiple states. Not a fun idea. The second downside to having a simple will is that probate can sometimes take up to 12 months or even more. So during that period, your kids are just kind of waiting for the assets to come. If you want the asset transfer process to take that long. The second downside of having a simple will. The third downside of having a simple will, which is another disadvantage of probate, is that once you have the will, your surviving spouse and your kids, they take the will to the local court, and every will has something called the inventory of assets. And once that is filed with the local court, it becomes a public record. Anybody out there can, check and see how much money your children have inherited. Now, for some people, that's not a problem, but if your kids are going to be inheriting, millions of dollars, then with privacy, that's a consideration.